Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. I hope that you all had a great Christmas, and now, of course, we're staring at New Year's 2025. Cash, come here, buddy. And I know that a lot of you have probably met Cash out there. He's a very well known out there, John Kaiser's dog, 108 pounds. Yeah, big baby. Yes, lots of rain has been coming in, and my report for this week is super fast. I actually did make it out one day to go do some fishing. We did a float, and we spent the whole day on it, and we covered the water very, very well, I think. At least we always like to think that. No bites, no fish. It was beautiful to get out. Plan was to try to do it again this week, but yeah, with all the rain that we had, that didn't last very long. At least the idea didn't last very long. So, of course, I was dumb enough. I had to try to get out and do at least one day. And I swore, and I even said this last weekend, I am not going to hunt ducks this week. It's just been such a struggle. I need to take a break. Well, of course, I had to go out. It only took me about 2 hours to figure out it was a complete waste of time. I packed everything up, and so no success, but it was nice to get out and do a little bit of fishing, and I'm super excited about what is to come after these river levels start to come back around. Now, you're going to see here in just a second, lots of rivers have really exploded this week. Some of them have turned over. Some of the smaller rivers up and down the coast will fish a little bit earlier than some of the larger systems. Again, we'll show you those here in just a second. So you certainly got something to look forward to. Again, don't forget you need that new fishing license before you get out there. I think, Wednesday is the 1st. So you got plenty of time. Just don't overlook it. And it looks like we do have, okay, we got 3 phone calls. So we're going to have some time to take some calls this segment as well. But let's go ahead. I'm rambling. Let's go ahead and show you some of the river levels and what they actually did. The Columbia did pop pretty nicely. It was actually forecasted to get up into the 10s, but it looks like they've kind of scaled that back. And you're going to notice that on a lot of the rivers, if you've been paying attention to them, that they did have a lot of them really kind of going up another foot or two, but they have kind of scaled them down. Although the Willamette, yeah, being in the valley, all that rain coming from the south and that south wind, which has just been so prevalent here the last, week and a half. Lots of rain, and the Willamette's going to continue to go up. I would not be shocked if this ended up even higher. But we'll see how it plays out. At least it's holding true to what their initial forecast was. Some of the smaller rivers, this is huge. I mean, right now at 16.2, just on this river, it's going to tell you everything about what's in the North Valley. It is unquestionably blown out, huge, and a lot of water. I mean, if you were going to go out and go float this, it's going to be one of the fastest floats you've ever taken. I mean, whew, all right, we're done. But you're getting into some interesting areas down here when you're talking about the middle of the week, and it will be interesting to see what Carly has to say about the weather for a couple days. Looks like we might get a little bit of a break in the rain, but we'll let her confirm that for all of us. Of course, along the coast, all those North Coast rivers just exploded, and they're not going to really come back around for another handful of days, but it does not take long. Again, you get back into that Wednesday time frame, you're going to start seeing some of the smaller systems fish earlier in that Tuesday range, I would assume. But by all means, you got something to look forward to. And after a freshet like this, there's no doubt that if you're going to be on a winter steelhead system, that there's going to be some fish in there. This is the kind of stuff that draws them in. Now, there's a lot of big water out there on the ocean. A lot of fish aren't going to make that cross across the bar. But if it does settle down, even more so, you're going to start seeing some good conditions to get out there. These are also interesting conditions. If you haven't spent a lot of time on any particular river that you're going to go do some fishing on, might not be your best idea to go floating something that you haven't been on yet, because this can change things with blowdown, trees in the rivers, any number of things that can change in smaller systems up and down the coast, and for that matter, anywhere. So just kind of be aware of that. What I say is it time to put a chainsaw in the boat. Depending on the system, it might not be a horrible idea to make sure you got something in there to help clear away if you're the first one through. We all love to be the first one through, but sometimes it can be a bit of a chore. But there you go. Lots and lots of water. It doesn't look like anything's really going to be too interesting until the latter part of the year, or excuse me, latter part of the year. But when you get into here, yeah, if you don't have any other time, But Tuesday, water might still be off color. Of course, still be high. Just fish tight. We've talked about this a lot over the years. You keep them tight, that's where the fish are going to be, literally at your feet. Especially if that water's off color and raging, they're going to want to be on the edges. And you can have some really bumper days, especially it being this time of year, going into January. Hopefully, things will work out for you. Don't forget the Thrills and Gills giveaway. This has been massive, and I hope that you have a chance to enter in to win. It's super simple. They don't make it any easier for you. You just got to hit that little, what do you call it, scan thing? What do they call it, Ryan? I'm missing it. Come on, help me out, quick. QR code, there it is. That's why we pay them the big bucks. Yeah, it's simple. Just put your phone up there, and you'll be entered in to win. You can only enter in once. If you win, you're going to have a great time over at the Mill Casino. Go fishing with the folks from Sharky's. And then, of course, go hit the dunes with the folks from Spin Reel, which, by the way, I'd love to go fishing with Sharky's. Those guys are great. But the dunes, oh, my God, it's so much fun. I mean, if you haven't done it before, I was very honest. I had more fun doing that for 3 hours than going to Disneyland, I can promise you that. Also, don't forget Jason Hambley over there at Procure. Send him an email. Maybe you could send him an email for a number of different things. Where should I go fishing? What are you using? That might help too. But Jason at Procure.com will get entered in to win that weekly prize pack that they throw out there to everyone, and we appreciate them taking the time to do so. But it's the weather, right? It's that time of year. We've got a lot of options that are out there. And nobody knows it better than Carly. And Carly, prior to the show, I had mentioned, or probably during the show, that I've been begging you for rain. And I'm not going to say stop. Now I'm going to start begging for cold weather. Do we got anything cold coming in the future?
Yeah, you got your Christmas wish for snow. Or, excuse me, for rain, that's for sure. The snow, though, not quite hitting the lowlands yet, nor are those chillier temperatures. We are still seeing some temperatures far above seasonally average levels. In fact, for today, our high in Portland is going to be 52. We've got some lower 50s over on the coast. We have some mid 40s for Central Oregon, some mid 40s for the Northeast, and even some lower 50s for Pendleton, despite the fact that in Eastern Oregon, they're having a bit of a wintry mix over there. The temperatures are just too warm for anything to stick at this point in time. There is going to be a winter storm watch for the Cascades, however, starting tomorrow morning at 4 in the morning. Now, several more inches of snow are expected to accumulate at the pass levels tomorrow. So that's one of the strongest winter storms that we have seen so far this season. So do be careful if you're planning to travel. I'd recommend getting that done in the early morning hours. Otherwise, I'd recommend holding off. But for the valleys and for the coast, those showers that we'll see for most of the day tomorrow should dissipate by later afternoon tomorrow. And then throughout the day on Monday and on Tuesday, too, which is, by the way, the last day of 2024, conditions should remain mostly dry with just a chance for a drizzle or two, really. So for today, we're staying in the lower 50s, like I said, but we're slowly getting back down to average temperatures by the middle of the week and by the end of our year, too. So as you can see, we also get back to some rainier conditions by Wednesday and Thursday. Friday also expected to be showery. So in typical Oregon fashion, we are ringing in the new year with some more showers.
Hey, that's great. I mean, I don't mind seeing, we need more water, believe it or not, everyone. We need more snow, no doubt about it. But it is getting excessive at this point, isn't it? Carly, as always, we appreciate your time. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some phone calls. We got a bunch of calls that are hanging. We got Steven, Jeff, Phil, and Mickey. We got lines open for you. If you want to call us up, it is the North American Metals hotline. I do this for some reason. It's easy. We'd love to hear from you. But first, let's go ahead and take them in the order. Let's go ahead and talk to Jeff. Jeff is from Portland. Looks like he's got a comment about Les Schwab. Jeff, what's going on?
Hey, Owen. I just wanted to give a shout out to Les Schwab. I am a 65-year-old guy, grew up on a ranch in Eastern Oregon. I've got 3 vehicles now, a boat trailer and a covered dirt bike trailer, and I've never in my life ever bought a tire anywhere else other than Les Schwab. The things that they do for our community is absolutely unmatched, not just our local community, but communities all over Oregon. And when I saw the toy drive on Channel 12 News, when I see that every year, it just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I'd like to suggest, you suggested we all buy rods at Fisherman's and donate them there. I think we should all buy rods and donate them to Les Schwab and tie a little red ribbon around the top, because when I went in there and delivered my rods, there was already rods in there, and I got to believe those are outdoor GPS watchers. So donate your rods to Les Schwab. Secondly, I stood in line for the first time ever for the Kershaw knives.
Yeah.
It took me an hour and a half to get in and 2.5 hours to get out. Blown away by the amount of just knives. I bought kitchen knives for my sweetie, but I ended up buying a couple pocket knives as well. Thirdly, I got a call a couple Saturday nights ago from CCA and thought I won the drift boat, but I won the cooler.
Oh, you won the cooler.
Awesome.
Okay.
And I've got my 4th annual drift boat trip already scheduled with Brandon. I'm signed up for the Thrills and Gills, and a 10-6 edge rod and a Stella is what you need to catch steelhead with.
Well, yes, but yeah, that's a long ways to go to get a good rod and reel. No question, it's the best stick I've ever had. Hey, thanks for all the kind words, man. We appreciate it. Les Schwab does a ton of great things for the community, no doubt about it, unquestionably. Jeff, thanks for your phone call. We appreciate it. And it sounds like you're going to be starting off the new year the right way. We appreciate it as always. Let's talk to Steven from Portland. He's got a question about Brad's new baits, it looks like. Steven, what's going on?
Well, last Saturday you had Brad in there. I think it was Brad.
It was Scott from Brad's, yes. Mm-hmm.
You had the cut plug on there with the triple hooks on the bottom.
Yeah.
Does that cut plug open up so you can stuff it?
Yes, any of those products at Brad's, either it be the cut plug like you just mentioned, or the original super baits, the skinny, those are all stuffer baits, meaning that you can stuff bait in them. And the one that we highlighted or showed this past weekend for the first time, nobody's ever seen it until here on the show, was the skinny mini, so that they're actually a smaller version of the original super bait. So they're just a little bit smaller. And oddly enough, not oddly, I guess, Scott got out of here without leaving me any of those new skinny minis. So I'm going to be twisting his arm so I can get a couple in here into the studio to show the size difference. But yes, they're all set up to where you can stuff them either with tuna or some sort of version of tuna or whatever bait that you might want to put in there and just keep scent working for you the whole time they're fishing. But those skinny minis, that started something huge here, let alone for them. It didn't crash their website, but it certainly came close. Those are going to be, they're going to be very, very popular. There's a reason why I think I have all of them, sponsors here on Outdoor GPS, but them scaling these sizes down, very, very effective, excuse me, when you're talking about baits behind 360s, which is the dominant way to chase salmon these days. Although, John and I were talking about this earlier, not so popular for springers yet, but it could very well become very popular. Could very well become popular. All right, let's go ahead and talk to Phil. Phil is from Canby. He's got a comment about elk in the Jewel area. Phil, how are you doing, sir? Phil, can you hear me?
Yes.
Do we got you?
Yep.
Well, Phil, looks like you got a comment about elk. Real quickly, what do you got for everyone?
Yeah, this is the Quaker from Canby.
Good to hear from you, Phil. What's going on?
Real quick, a couple of weeks ago I was down at the coast with my trailer, and I decided to go over to Astoria and take 202 down to Jewel.
Yeah.
And there, right alongside the highway at the game preserve, there must have been 150 elk. There was a couple of bulls, a nice 4-point about 25, 30 feet from the edge of the road. I pulled up, rolled the window down, and talked to him for about 4 or 5 minutes. He just stood there and looked at me like, what in the hell are you doing? And then he just kind of meandered off. And just beautiful, beautiful animals, but there's no reason that they're not still there, because I think they start feeding them about now. So.
Yeah, well, that's a good reminder. That's an area that for a lot of you out there, if you haven't had a chance to really, I'm not going to say interact with elk in any significant way, but if you want to see a bunch of elk, that is a great place to go view them. No question about it. And Phil, I find it interesting that bull even stuck around. If he knew what your past was like with filling your freezer, he probably wouldn't have hung out all that long talking with you. Phil, thanks for calling, and a reminder of a great way that folks can go and see elk in real life. I know a lot of you may have never done that. Can we take Mickey's call, or should I wait? Should we? Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Mickey. Mickey's from Portland. He's got a shout out. We've got lots of shout outs this morning. Mickey, what do you got for everybody? Mickey, can you hear me?
Owin?
It is. You're on live television, so remember that, well, Mickey. What's going on?
I was just hearing you talk to that guy from Cambian.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to tell you that I remind you that I've had MS for the last 34 years. I got it from Agent Orange in Vietnam. And I just live my life through you because I can't get out anymore.
Well, Mickey, on that note, I'm only doing this because of men like yourself, sir. Thank you for your service to our country. I've got, in my opinion, a hero here in my studio. I'm sorry to hear that you've been struggling with MS for so long, but if there's anything we can do to keep you in the mix, that's what we're here for at all times. So make sure you keep watching. We'll keep doing what we can do, and hopefully we can keep doing it for many, 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 many years, Mickey. We appreciate your service and giving me the opportunity to do what we're doing here with Outdoor GPS. We appreciate it, sir. And have a great New Year. Okay, Mickey?
Aren't you going to have somebody on that guides people like me, veterans?
Yes, sir.
That's what I want to listen to, see about getting out with him.
When we come back from this break, you're going to meet John Kaiser yourself here on the air. Mickey, as always, sir, thank you again, and I hope you had a great Christmas and have a happy New Year, sir, and enjoy 2025. We appreciate your call and the kind words here for our little show. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I've got John Kaiser Jr. Y'all know him as a veteran that takes everybody out fishing and gets you veterans out there as well. We're going to find out how you can get out with him, if you're a veteran or not, to go chase some salmon around here in the Northwest. It'll be a good one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Outdoor GPS in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.
Nobody enjoys the outdoors more than I do. And these are what gets me there. Les Schwab offers a free pre-trip safety inspection. How does this help the average customer that comes in?
We call it our safety status check, and every vehicle that comes into our shop is going to get one.
Big thanks to Les Schwab for your continued support and sponsorship of Outdoor GPS, and I look forward to many years of more adventures on your tires.